What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and in today's video, guys, I'm going to be going over, is Zillow trying to put real estate photographers out of business? Let's dive into the video. So for context, I had a realtor that I work a lot with come up to me and tell me that Zillow offered to photograph one of their listings for them. Now, originally, I just chopped this up as competition. Maybe they were a Zillow certified photographer at one point, and they were just trying to use that to potentially get in with my client, which isn't out of the ordinary. However, a few days ago, I had another client come up to me and say that Zillow also offered to photograph their listing for them by calling them, and they offered to photograph six listings, wait for it, for free. Now that sounds really ambitious, and if you don't know Zillow, you might say, that doesn't sound like something Zillow would do. But let's take a little bit of a history lesson and walk back just a little bit. So for those of you guys that were realtors or worked in real estate media during COVID, it was a crazy time. And one of the things that made it crazy is Zillow's iBuy program. Zillow saw an opportunity to capitalize by using their capital to buy a bunch of the real estate on the market, the little bit that was actually on the market. Zillow was then going to do some minor renovations and flip these homes for a major profit. Now, Zillow's iBuy program ultimately failed, and they lost about $881 million in the process, which is a lot of money. But more importantly, even though they lost a lot of money, they also lost something that was also very valuable, which is the realtor's trust, which we're going to get into in just a moment. Now, back to present day, I decided to do a little bit of digging to see what is Zillow trying to accomplish here. And while I went to their website trying to see if this was a new service they offered, I didn't see anything. However, if you type in photographer jobs available for Zillow, you will find that Zillow was hiring all across the country. And I mean everywhere. And Zillow is very quietly trying to enter the space without making a big splash, trying to get a lot of the agents that do a lot of volume and sales. So as a photographer, should you be concerned? My best opinion would be no. And this is why. One of the worst things that Zillow did with their iBuy program was hurt realtors. And they hurt realtors specifically that did the most volumes in their cities and areas. Realtors that have a great reputation ultimately at the end of the day can't compete with a large corporation like Zillow, so the ones that were most affected were the realtors that did the most volume in sales. So that now that Zillow is approaching them trying to give them their business, agents aren't so receptive to working with Zillow. Let's imagine that you have a lemonade stand and a bigger company tries to come in and create their own lemonade stand and run you out of business just to make their business look a little bit better. They start offering a lemonade cheaper and ultimately they fail. But in the process of that, they really hurt your business. Now let's imagine that this company comes back a year later and says, hey, I don't know what you're talking about. We never try to make lemonade. However, we'll sell you the cups and the plates. You don't need your supplier. We can supply you with the things you need. We'll do it cheaper. Do you think, would you personally hire that company that after they just tried to run you out of business, now all of a sudden they want to work with you? Would you get rid of your current supplier to work with a company like that? So far, I found the answer to be no. And personally, with photographers, Zillow had a great relationship. Zillow used to give people a lot of beta testing for their photographers that they worked with. And now, instead of working with photographers, they're actively trying to hire their own photographers to corner that market. And let's say hypothetically that Zillow succeeded. They hired a bunch of photographers, they put a lot of local photographers out of business. What would happen next? Well, if they found this model to be successful, wouldn't they do this with inspectors, with appraisers, and the other ancillary services that go along with real estate? This could cause a really bad domino effect in the industry, but ultimately, people aren't receptive to working with Zillow that I've seen so far. And the one reason why I don't think this is gonna work out for Zillow is because it comes down to one word, and that's trust. Zillow betrayed the trust of realtors by doing this to them during COVID, and it hurt a lot of them. A lot of people were financially strained from what Zillow did, and even though Zillow lost a massive amount of money, some people had to quit being realtors because of it. And Zillow hasn't really seen those repercussions yet. Right now, they're just seeing an opportunity to maybe enter a different part of real estate and improve the amount of money they have coming into their company. You can take the greatest photos in the world, but if a realtor trusts you, they're never gonna let you into one of their clients' home to photograph for them. Realtors are putting their trust in you to photograph their client's home, and some of them are owner-occupied. I've personally photographed a bunch of owner-occupied homes when people aren't home, and my realtors trust me to be professional and do a great job, and that is what I strive to do every single time. To hire a photographer from Zillow, a company that most people don't trust right now, and to hire a photographer that they don't know sounds like a very risky bet. So what can we do about it as photographers to stop this? Probably nothing. We're a small fish in a very big pond. But for me personally in my business, I used to push the 3D dashboard and the 3D tours and the floor plans because I really do like them. Even though I love the 3D tours and the floor plans, I'm gonna spend more time working with companies that are looking to make my services look better and not actively trying to compete with me. If Realtor.com or Redfin decides to do what Zillow's doing with the tours and the floor plans, but they're looking to promote photographers, they're gonna have a large chunk of photographers start to work with Realtor or Redfin more. We're gonna see in the next couple months or maybe even years if this works out for Zillow, but personally, I don't see it working out because they're missing that core fundamental value that realtors are looking for with them, and that is trust. With that being said, guys, let me know in the comment section down below if any of your clients have been contacted. I live in Florida, so I don't know maybe if they're trying it here or they're trying it in bigger cities as well. I'm just genuinely curious to see if anybody else's clients have been contacted by Zillow to photograph for them. The next video I'm going to be making is how to shoot a drone time lapse. And in the description of the video, it's going to have some channel exclusive content that you're only going to see if you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.